Good morning, Buffalo. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman. Right now, I would love to introduce my very lovely co-host, Harry.
Hi, dude man, are you up?
I'm always up, always ready to podcast. Are you up?
Yes, I am, and I am absolutely thrilled to be here with you today and with our guest.
Yes. So, guest of the week, will you please introduce yourself and tell us what your titles, your hats are? What do you do in the Buffalo film community?
Oh, hi. My name is Geno Jonathan Nicholas Delmaro. Most people call me Asshole. I've been acting in the local film theater industry here for the last 3 years or so. Recently, I can call myself a writer. I wrote a short script, and I'm actually trying to get that produced by November. And yeah, I'm trying to get more into creative stuff.
What is the name that you wrote, or is it to be announced later?
I basically I've been telling anyone who would listen, so I'm not trying to keep it secret. It's called Please Seat Yourself, and it's heavily inspired by Twilight Zone. The way I describe it is a Twilight Zone episode, and I'm 99% sure I stole it from somewhere. I just don't know where.
Do you want to give some of the premise, or is that just again something to be announced later?
I could give you a brief synopsis. So a guy walks into a diner, and he greets the waitress. He sits down at the table. He orders his coffee. Waitress comes back with the coffee, but this diner's going kind of crazy. There's a DoorDash guy that's freaking out, yelling at the waitress. There's this other guy having an argument with his wife. The chef's having a freak out in the kitchen. So he has kind of like a episode of panic attack. Gets up, goes wash his face to the bathroom, comes back. Everything starts over. The same stuff's happening over and over again, and he doesn't know why. And that's basically where we're going with the film.
So right now we're gonna jump into our first segment. This segment is called Fan Mail. So this is where we ask you, the listener, to send in your questions. We will read that right here on air, and the guest of the week will answer. So without further ado, Ari Nicole, will you please ask the first question?
Okay, so how would you rate the efficiency of a polar draft module when attached to a 90 cylinder engine?
Well, it depends on how the velocity of the cylinder rate and what aspect ratio it is going into. Is it a cross-plane crank? Is it a wing jangle? Is it solar flaring? Exactly. I mean, there's so many different variables, it's hard to give you a correct answer.
That's a good answer, in my opinion.
Right on.
So this question comes in from Chris, 24, Lancaster. So he just went to the Buffalo 48 screening, and he saw your short film, and he thought you did a great job. How many years have you done the Buffalo 48, and what teams have you been associated with?
All right, so I've really only been doing film stuff in general for like the last 2 years plus. So I did the 48-hour film festival 2 years ago. I did two of them, and then I did the 4 Points right after that. I also did two of those. This year I only did 148, and that was the one with Cat Martinez's team for Assimilate. Last year I did Cupid's. I keep wanting to say Cupid's Chokehold. It's Cupid's Getaway with Renaissance Hands, and the 4 Points, I did one of them with Taylor Martin. That was Billy Must Live. I'm in the background. I showed up as an extra as a zombie, and I talked my way into getting more screen time. I forgot the name of the first one that we did. Amber Ann was actually in it too. Victoria Hutton, Rick Parisi, Amelia Favara. I can't remember the name of it. A Birthday in the Family? Something like that. And I forgot who made it. Something Carbone. Mike Carbone. Yeah.
Was that the one where you were dancing in like a wedding?
No, that was To No Avail. That was Tyler Insons. I can never say his last name correct. I'm sorry, Tyler. That was his film. I just happened to show up. I replied to a thing on Facebook, and it's like, come dress as a tuxedo. I was like, okay, I got a blue tuxedo, and it's very noticeable.
Um, what was your genre?
The genre this year was horror and inspirational.
Which one did you go with?
We went with horror.
Do you prefer that, or is that just what your team went with?
It's what Kat actually wanted. Kat Martinez, she's a very creative person. She does a lot of special effects gore. People have called her the gore goddess out here in Buffalo. And she just loves doing any kind of film stuff. It doesn't have to be horror. We got horror because she was excited about it, and it worked out. And for what we had to work with, I'm very happy with the product that came out of it. Just like every 48, everyone has problems. We had some real ones, and we just managed to push through and make something, and I'm happy with it.
All right. So if you were to recommend an initial range of starting capital for a Bitcoin moderator in order for them to increase their revenue output by 40%, what would that range be?
Okay, so we're talking about a monitor overseeing the miners. All right, so what they need to do is have a large enough space because I mean, Bitcoin is incredibly volatile. Right now, it's at like 61,000 and change, but 4 days ago it was like 52,000. Even though it's an $8,000 difference in price for the coin, it's still like I don't know, math is bad. 6% up and down. So my best advice is to go back in time and buy it when it was like 30 cents, and then you'll be good. If you spent $200 in Bitcoin in 2007, you'll have like $20 million right now.
I saw Angelfish, saw some photos for that. Any fun memories? Tell me about the cast and what sticks out to you for about that.
Well, Angelfish was just a lot of fun because it never felt like work. These are all my friends, and if I never met anyone, and we became immediate friends. The biggest thing I could stick out to me is that we were shooting a couple of scenes inside of someone's garage, but this guy completely gutted out his garage and made it look like an actual bar. And we called it Little Capaccios based on an inside joke between the director and his friends. And yeah, it was just a lot of fun during the times during the offshoots when the cameras were off. We're just listening to music, dancing around, just joking around. Eric Nicotera, very loud, very rambunctious, hypes everyone up. Harold is always trying to go with whatever stupid joke everyone else is doing. It was just a lot of fun. And then after that, we shot in the woods, right, not that far from here. I forgot the name of the park, but it was one of the parks out here, and it was cold as shit. It was like 30 degrees outside, and we were looking for a shot to film. We wanted to go towards the lake on the water, but there was a bunch of kids playing there for some reason, so we had to go walk on some paths and find somewhere else to shoot. And we just came across a pack of deer, and we had like a Mexican standoff between me, Harold, Justin, and 4 deer. Like normally deer will look at you and like run away, but this guy, he wasn't going nowhere. So we backed off and found somewhere else. We shot a scene in a different area by a tree. Justin didn't really like it, so we actually went back to the dock, to the wood dock, and we shot those scenes over there. Funny little thing is too, because we had our line set up where we wanted to do everything, but Justin wanted to get us walking to that spot in the scene, and we just improvised some random shit in character.
You're good. The S word's fine.
And I was talking about some weird, like, what's the share button for on Pornhub and like all that kind of stuff, and it actually made the film, I'm told. So that was fun. Oh, and also one more thing. There was a random guy just bird watching. Like we were filming, the camera set up, boom mic. Like there's 5 people in this one corner, and this guy walks up to us, goes right into the middle of the set, and just got his camera out and bird watching right next to us. It's like there's something going on, man.
This next question comes from an Angel 21 and Batavia. So she's seen you recently in a lot of like short films and just like trailers and stuff. She's curious if you're going to the Amazing Fantasy Fest and what films or short films do you have that you're in?
Yeah, I'm planning on being there most of the time. I definitely want to sit down and watch Slasher Days of Summer, and then I'm also part of a theater company called First Look Buffalo. They kind of want me to go do something for Curtain Up the same night, so I'm going to bounce there and then head over there and then hopefully come right back to catch the rest of the stuff. But I'm in 4 different things that I know of that's in Fantasy Fest. I'm in Slasher Days. I did a really fun day on that one. I did Ragdoll Assassin with Kurt. Really fun gig on that one. like literally 2 days before he shot. We actually talked at Valkyrie Film Fest. It's like, hey, remember that thing I told you about? I wanted you in. You still want to do it? It's like, yeah, okay, meet me here in 3 days. Knocked out that scene real fast. Had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know. I just kind of read this scene and I wanted to play with some props while I was doing it. And even though he never mentioned anything about it, it was just like, I'm just doing this thing. He let me do it. So I feel like that scene came out fun. I did some work with Taylor Martin for Essen Trip. I'm blink if you miss me. If you blink, you'll miss me. I'm some fat guy dancing in a nightclub. Yeah, I gained a lot of weight for that role. And then I'm in shit. What was the last one? I'm in so many things I forgot. 7 kills, 3 songs, and a banana. I think that's it. Richard Fish reached out to me. Hey, you want to be at a cemetery and do a funeral? Yes, of course. I love mourning. So we sat around at a funeral, a pretend funeral, for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Matt Monaco showed up with no shoes in a cemetery. I remember that. And yeah, that was a good time.
All right, let's see. In your opinion, what would be the most crucial vegetables to include in a venison stew?
Okay, venison stew. You definitely need carrots. You need celery. You got to have some tomatoes for texture, right? Now I like to get a little bit funky. Some people will say, okay, you want to put cauliflower in there. We're like, why do you want cauliflower? Like, it's like broccoli with no flavor. But I like to get a little bit weird, and I like to get some ginger root. Now it might be a little nutty out there, but it really is that extra kick up.
Yeah, nice spice.
I don't know how to cook it all. That might be a reason why.
I personally love the spiciness it gives, so
I love wasabi. Yeah, it's a cousin of it, but like I could eat wasabi raw, and I love the pain of eating it.
it clears out the nasal passages.
It hurts so good.
And we're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian Dudeman, co-host,
Arian and Cole, also up.
and our guest.
I'm way up.
Nice, and we'll be right back. And we're back. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman, my co-host.
Yes, Arian Nicole is up and ready to go. How about you, dude, man?
I am up.
I'm so up, man.
Ari, next segment.
So this next segment we like to call Plug Yourself. This is where we give our guests the opportunity to share any place where we might get to see them and their work. So are you in any coming festivals? Do you have any videos or films online that we could watch? What about your Facebook, and do you use Instagram? Where in the world is Geno Delmaro?
Well, lucky for you guys, I'm located here in Buffalo, New York. I've lived in Buffalo for most of my life, unfortunately. No, but seriously, I love Buffalo. Yeah, you guys can find me out on Instagram at The Buffalonian, from how much I love Buffalo. And also my other account is Geno Evo on Instagram. You could find me and watch anything I've done on YouTube. Just ask me and I'll send you some stuff. There's some stuff that's not technically not public, but it's been 3 years, so I've just been sending it to anyone who asks. Right now I'm doing a play at Desiderio's in Cheektowaga. It's called Don't Drink the Water. It's a fun play based in the 80s. It's about this tourist group that gets stuck in like a Soviet Union embassy, American embassy in the Soviet Union, and like they get stuck there. It's a farce. It's a lot of fun. And then after that, right after, for the same theater company for Desiderios, I'm going to be in the cast for Shawshank Redemption, and that should be a good show. Yeah, we got some big plans for that one. I am, as I mentioned before, I am in 4 that I know of. I might be in more of the Fantasy Fest.
Amazing Fantasy Fest.
What he said. Amazing Fantasy Fest. Amazing Fantasy Fest. I'm in at least 4 of them. 2 of them, if you blink, you might miss me, but I am in it. So if you want to be a fan of mine, you could call me out and say, hey, I love when you wear that tank top and that thing for like a half a second. Other than that, like I'm always around. I'm hard to miss. I went to a play recently. My friend's doing a drunk theater, and I wore a Newport sweatsuit like the cigarettes Newport. I don't even smoke. And the first thing they, as soon as he came off the stage, is like, dude, you're hard to miss. Like, I clocked you immediately.
Gino, how do you feel? Do you feel plugged?
I feel uh, enlightened, like a bag of feathers.
Like you don't feel like backed up?
Are you saying that I'm full of shit? Because baby, I got diarrhea, man. I'm loose. I'm all out there. All right. Ask and you shall receive. I'm an open book. All you gotta do is read it. Life's a garden. Dig it, baby.
See that is how you end in a segment, listeners. Future guests, that's how you end it. All right, so now that we've done plug yourself, we're going to go into the next segment. This one's called A Hero's Journey.
Let's start at the beginning. I was born at a very young age. Uh, so, to make a long story long, I got into acting about 3 years ago. I met a girl at a bar. She said she makes movies. I was like, ooh, what kind of movies? And it turns out she makes no-budget, low-budget horror movies. And eventually, she let me audition for it. I like to say something about my face screams racist because she gave me the job as this racist cop that kills a black kid. Which, you know, apparently she had a bunch of friends that didn't want to do the job, but, like, I never did anything before. This is something fun to do. I never thought I'd do anything again. So we did this film. It was fun doing it. She showed it to her people at her community center, and they gave her a budget for a sequel. The character that I play in the sequel has a much bigger role in it. Now, it still hasn't come out. It's still a whole bunch of editing. We shot on, like, 5 different cameras. It's a whole mess. It's been 3 years. Hopefully one day it'll come out soon. But ended up doing that. Just thought it was just going to be something I did. Never thought about it again. On to the next thing. A couple months later, I'm supposed to go hang out with the same girl again. Her name's Akira. We were supposed to go see that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once, by the Daniels. Fantastic movie. I loved it a lot. She was like, well, I don't know if I can make it. I have an audition at the theater. I said, okay, well, let's do this. How about I take you to the theater, and we'll figure it out afterwards. It's like, okay, let's do that. So she's reading her sides, because it's a callback. She's reading her sides and doing her scene with her scene partner, and I'm just sitting there talking to the guy next to me, who happens to be the director of the play. And he's talking to me, and I'm talking to him, and I say, hey, well, I have a little bit of acting experience. If you guys ever need a fat white guy for anything, let me know. He looks at me. I just might. So he hands me some sides. I didn't even think it was an audition at the time because it was a 3-person scene, and I figured he just wanted to look at the scene and not at the page. So I'm reading right off the page, but I'm very confident about what I'm doing. Like, I read enough to see that he's sitting down in a chair and who he is, and I just had an idea for what to do without anyone telling me what to do. We ran through the scene, didn't think anything of it, went to go watch the movie. Great movie, went home. 2 weeks later, I got the call, hey, I got the job. I don't even know what I'm doing. First time I'm ever on a stage, on a play, ever, and I'm getting paid for it downtown in Buffalo. So I got a professional acting gig. It's the first time ever auditioning for everything. Oh, and by the way, I was wearing a hot pink tracksuit at the time. I looked like a bottle of Pepto-Bismol. After we closed on Raisin in the Sun at the Paul Robeson, I started, you know what? I'm going to keep looking for stuff. And I kept getting cast in things, and I keep still getting cast in things, and now I'm making things. I started a production company in Zombia Studios. I have a chainsaw. It's just something I really enjoy doing. I never thought I would ever have an opportunity to do anything like this. I even stopped being a realtor because of this. So anyone who doesn't know me, I'm a contractor by trade. I mostly do roofing work. And at the time, I was studying to be a realtor. And I was an active real estate agent for about 3 months until I started getting consistent work with acting. And I just can't do 3 things at once because my brain's not big. And even though I'm not making any extra money with this, you do get paid, but it's more pay for gas kind of thing. Like you're not making anything. You know what I mean? This is much more fulfilling and spiritually lifting, and just meeting people and making friends, and it means a lot to me, and I want to keep doing it. I want to keep meeting people. I want to make cool shit with cool people as much as I can, you know, regardless of how the quality is going to be. Like in the 48s, like a lot of them quality wise kind of suck, but it's a lot of fun doing it, and you get the circumstance of hey, 30 people made something that didn't exist last weekend. And that's amazing to me. Yeah. So keep on dreaming, follow your dreams, don't do it for money, and just have your heart open to it. Get into situations you wouldn't plan of before.
I agree with all that.
Very well said.
And that was a hero's journey. We're going to take a quick break. Brian Dudeman, co-host.
Ari Nicole, still up?
And we'll be back. And we're back. You're listening to the Buffalo Podcast. My name is Brian Dudeman. My co-host, as always, is the very lovely
Ari Nicole, and I'm still up, dude, man. How about you?
I am up.
Where we're going, we don't need to be up.
Geno, you up?
I am very up.
Nice. All right, so this is the part of the show where we ask you your final thoughts, what you think about being on the podcast, any advice you would give for future guests, and yeah.
Well, I can tell you very much that I enjoy this a lot. I like hanging out with you guys in your basement, which is very nice, by the way. You guys don't get to see this. This is a nice space. Like, we got TVs, we got toys, we got ponies. Very good space. Very comfortable, welcoming. I feel very welcomed by both of you guys. Yeah, great experience. 10 out of 10. Would recommend.
Geno, when you got here, you got me a gift, and I'm going to open it right now on this podcast.
Awesome. And this is not rehearsed. This is fresh. This is brand new.
Ooh, nice. It's a shirt.
For anyone who didn't know, Inzombia Studios is my production company that I started a few months ago. That's the label that I'm going to be producing my short film out of. And I just made a dumb poster for it a couple days ago. And I was like, you know what? This would be perfect to go on Dude Man.
Nice. It looks familiar. Where have I seen that before? Oh, right there. Yeah, that's where I've seen it before. I know I saw it somewhere.
It must have been in your dreams or something. I don't know.
It definitely looked familiar.
Thank you, Geno. I appreciate this. I will keep this in my merch side of the closet. I do have a merch side where when I go to concerts, I always like to pick out the shirts. Sometimes I'm lucky and like the bands will like hang out after the show at the bar, and I'll actually get them to sign. So that's why I love Tom Ballroom. That's a great place to meet bands.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing. Ty Shaman. I'm in his movie Fum Ducks. It's very exciting. The script's really, really solid. He's animating everything by hand on his computer. It's going to be really fun. Don't know when exactly it's going to come out. I know I'm plugging myself again. Fum Ducks. Look forward to it.
Ty was a previous guest on our show, and it's awesome to hear that you two will be working together in the future. I'm definitely going to keep my eyes out for that.
Thank you. We worked together a little bit on Slasher Days also. We actually met at the... it was called Fantastic Fest then. Last year, we just kind of met, shook hands, went to go eat pizza together, and then he was like, "Hey, you want to be in my movie?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." Any other thoughts? What was it? Or what do I recommend about other people coming here? Yeah, just do it, man. It's fun. Join the cult, bro.
What is it that I'm missing? There's something that I'm always supposed to remember each week. I got this. No hints. I got this, Ari. I got this.
Sending it to you telepathically.
So this is part of the show where we ask the guests if they have one question for either Ari or myself. And it can only be one of us. Can't be both.
I'm doing it telepathically.
Loaded fries. That's my answer.
You gotta put a little bit of chili on there, okay?
If you're going to get loaded fries, go to Tully's. And yes, their chili is the bomb as well.
So his question that he asked me was, what is your favorite side dish when you go to a restaurant? And I said loaded fries.
Oh, I take that as the entree, man. Going to Tully's?
So I did this last week, and I liked it. So it might be a continuous thing that I keep doing. Because it ends on a positive note. Tell me one thing, Geno, that makes you happy. Tell me one thing in this world that gives you hope. Tell me one thing that just, like, gives you a reason to keep living.
Well, not to get too sappy, but I would definitely say it's my daughter. I love her to death. She's 9 years old. She is an asshole, but I can't imagine living my life without her. She's 9. She's all the way up to my shoulder. She's going to be taller than me. Every time I look at her, I just get a sense of overwhelming joy. I don't know how else I can say this. I love watching her grow up. I love watching her become her own person, and I miss her a lot. She lives with family right now, but I go and see her once a week at least. So it's yeah, I love her a lot.
That was good. That was a really good way to end it. All right. Well, until next time, Buffalo. I've been Brian Dude Man, my co-host,
Ari Nicole, as always.
and we just have one question for you, Buffalo. You
You
up?
up? All right, I'm here in the dungeon at Brian Dude Man's podcast. Buffalo, you up? Are you ready? Cause I am. I messed up.